So there's an interesting question here. So this person is asking a personal question about something that happened in their life. Generally, I do not answer personal questions in a group because all I know is the information on one sheet of paper, and there's usually so much more background to understand before giving personal advice. Okay, so whoever wrote this, I'm not giving you personal advice about your problem, but because this situation is one that I think most people have experienced at one time or another, to just talk in a general sense about when this happens and discuss a few of the different Dharma antidotes that we can use. Okay? So let me read you the situation. So recently, a close friend did something that I interpreted as a painful emotional betrayal. I did not respond when this happened. I suffer from feeling anger, jealousy, and resentment. I do not believe this other person is aware of my deeply hurtful feeling. I am having trouble dealing with these feelings. I wonder if I should tell this person how I feel and ask for an apology. But I don't want to make them feel bad for causing me pain. Not sure what to do. Okay, so my first advice on this is don't think about what to do. What to do is not in the picture right now. The first thing you have to do is calm your own mind and see the situation in a realistic way. After that, what to do becomes clearer by itself, okay? But we always go to what to do. Yeah. And notice how this, what to do is, well, one alternative is tell them how I feel and ask for an apology. Okay, in which case I want this person to know how much I suffered and how inconsiderate they were. But then I don't want to make them feel bad for causing me pain. Okay, so I want them to be aware of my pain and apologize, but I don't want to cause them pain by making them know that they caused me pain. Huh? Are we a little bit unclear in our mind? Yeah, when this happens? You're all just sitting there like, yeah? You want somebody to know that they hurt you and to feel bad because they hurt you and to apologize. But you don't want to make them feel bad because they hurt you, because maybe they won't like you after that. So we want two contradictory things. Okay? So that's a signal. Watch in your mind when you're wanting two contradictory or more, 3, 4, 10, 20 contradictory things. That's a signal that your mind is unclear and confused. And, you know, the afflictions are percolating. Okay, so there's a bunch of different ways to deal with this. One is in a verse we recited after lunch today. Okay, which verse is it?
Someone you have trusted and hurts you very
badly. I will practice
that person as my supreme teacher.
Okay, so somebody you have trusted hurts you
Whom you have placed great trust hurts you
very badly. Yeah. I will practice seeing that person as my supreme teacher. What? Look, I have two choices. I can either confront them and make them apologize, or I can hold it all in because I don't want to make them feel bad. And now they're telling me I should see them as my supreme teacher. This good friend who betrayed my trust is my supreme teacher? Huh? That's what our mind says, isn't it? See them as my supreme teacher? What in the world can I learn from this situation? What do you think you can learn from a situation in which a close friend has betrayed your trust? You know, what can you learn? Aside from, well, that person is just an awful, stinky person, and I don't want to talk to them again. That's not an appropriate answer. Give me, what can you learn from them if they're your teacher? What are they teaching you? What does patience mean? How are you supposed to see the situation?
You can see the situation. Instead of following your normal pattern of getting angry, you could do something differently, coming from a place of compassion, empathy.
Mm-hmm. So what would that look like? What specifically would you think?
I would think that this person is just like me, wants happiness, does not want suffering, and is acting out of that need.
Yeah. So they have something bothering them, and that is what is motivating what they said or did. Yeah. And so there's no need for me to take it personally, because they're actually saying in convoluted language, yeah, I'm suffering about something. And so how do we want to respond to people who are suffering? You owe me an apology? No. Okay. We want to respond with compassion if we can. Okay. So this doesn't, hold on, okay. So this doesn't mean you stuff your feelings, but you just try and think of the other person's situation. Yeah, what's going on with them that they may have said that. Yeah. Then also, what could they be teaching you?
What is my role in this?
Yeah. What is my role in it? Yeah. Did I say something or do something that triggered this reaction from somebody? Okay, so maybe we have an expectation of them and rely on them for fulfilling a need we have, that actually, if we looked more closely, we might be able to fulfill that need ourselves or deal with it in another way. Imagine that. You mean that we might have unrealistic expectations of other people? Yeah. Oh, So I have expectations of them. Did we ever sign a contract that these were my expectations of them and they promised to fulfill them? No. Then does that person know that they have to fulfill my expectations? Do they even know what my expectations are? No. Okay. So you just dissect it. Yeah. And I'm talking from experience here about one incident that happened to me some years ago, where there was very strong betrayal of trust. And I had the fortune to go into retreat not too long after that happened and look at this situation deeply. And this was one of the things that I saw, that I had a whole lot of expectations of that person. Yeah. And it looked like they were going to fulfill most of them. And then they didn't. And then they said, after everything I did. Yeah. So there was a nice pity party for a while until I realized that my pity party was making me feel worse, not better. And then I sat down and looked at the expectations that I had. Yeah. And that this person never promised to fulfill them. So why am I holding them to a contract that I made up in my mind that they didn't have any knowledge about? Okay, that's one thing. Also, okay, a close friend did something that I interpreted as a painful emotional betrayal. Are my interpretations always spot on? Yeah. When I have something happen between me and another person, I have this whole story, an idea about what's going on. But is that necessarily an objective fact? I feel like it is. Okay. But just because I feel like it's an objective fact doesn't make it one. So there's one story I want to tell in this area. Yeah, there was one of our good Dharma friends, and her son was getting married. And the bride came from a different ethnic group, and they were having a big engagement party celebration, something like that, in Los Angeles. Okay, so my friend was a little bit nervous. She was invited to the party, but she was nervous because she didn't know much about the ethnic group. She didn't know the bride's family. She didn't know the bride very well, so she was kind of apprehensive about going to this party. But she went, and arrived there and, rang the doorbell. They opened the door and she walked in and she saw that her future daughter-in-law was, sitting in the room and was talking to somebody. And she came in and she's, the mother of the guy that this girl's going to marry. And she just ignored her. Yeah, she kept talking to whoever she was talking to without realizing that the mother of the groom had just walked in the room, or she realized that she had walked in the room and just didn't care and was incredibly rude and ignored her. You remember this? And so she was upset. Not only, she ignored me and rebuffed me, but this is going to be my daughter-in-law? Yeah, so she was very upset. So we did a little thing with her that we learned from nonviolent communication. And we said, okay, when you told us the story, there were quite a few emotional words in there and quite a few descriptive words. So let's back up a little bit and just tell us the bare facts of what happened. Yeah, no emotional words, no descriptive words, just what happened. So she kept trying, and she was always putting in those emotional words. She ignored me. She did this deliberately. She doesn't value me. I'm the mother-in-law, and da-da-da. And eventually, because we kept calling her on all this, she got to the description of what actually happened. I walked into the room and she was talking to somebody and continued talking to them. That's the bare facts of the situation. All the rest of, she knew I had come in, she knew I didn't know anybody, it's her responsibility to take me around and introduce me to her family, and she, doesn't value me, and yet she's going to be my daughter-in-law, and she did it deliberately, and she's so rude and inconsiderate, and how in the world can my son marry somebody like that? None of that was objective reality. The only thing that happened was she walked in the room and her son's fiance was talking to somebody and continued talking. That's all. So it's very interesting, when we start our conceptualizations and making up a whole storyline about what the other person is thinking and what their motivation is, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and justifying, how we feel, to realize that that is our conceptualized story. It's not an objective fact. Okay, so we are writing a story and then getting very upset about it. Mm-hmm. So we hear this and we go, yeah, that sounds okay. But, the yes but. But she really was very rude, and she saw me, and I know she was just ignoring me because she hates me. And we come right back to our story again. Okay, and then we have to sit and dissect it again. We are not mind readers. We pretend to be mind readers. We think we know everybody's motivation for what they did. Did we ever bother to ask them what their motivation was? No. We just assume that we can read their mind and we know their motivation. Okay? And also what we do, because we are all amateur psychologists, we diagnose them. Yeah? So this friend who did this has, what's it called, a narcissistic, complex disorder? What is it? Huh? Narcissistic personality, okay. Yeah. So we diagnose, she has narcissistic personality. In another situation, we may diagnose they're passive aggressive. Yeah. Or they're borderline. Or, you're psychotic. Or, whatever other, fans, what?
Histrionic.
Histrionic. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, histrionic. Yeah. That, that's what Freud used to just talk about women, wasn't it? That they were always going into hysterics. I think he has some kind of complex about women. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, the point is that, so often what is happening, we think is objective reality, and instead we are mind reading, we are superimposing, projecting motivations and intentions on other people. We never bother to ask what's happening, with them, that they said this. Okay. And, this is the real good one that I find works well. Okay, so this situation, close friend, did something that I interpreted as painful emotional betrayal. Okay, so let's say your friend, I don't know what exactly they did, lied to you or talked behind your back and said something awful or something like that, let's just say, I don't know, or stole your teddy bear, or I don't know, which was passed down in generations in your family, and you have to preserve the teddy bear for your kids and grandkids and so on. Anyway, okay, so you feel wounded. Now, if your friend kind of came in this room and said that same thing to me, yeah, or did that same thing to me, stole my antique whatever, lied to me, talked behind my back, did the exact same thing they did to you, to me, would you be upset? Would you be upset? No. No. Why would you be upset if that person was mean to me and betrayed my trust? But when the exact same thing happens, and instead of looking at me, she looks at you and does the same thing to you, then it is a national disaster. But when it happens to me, you say, children, why are you so upset? Don't take this personally. It's like such a little thing. But when it happens to you, ooh, it is serious business. What's the difference? Yeah. What's the difference? It's nothing when it happens to me, but it's really serious when it happens to you. Yeah. We're the center of the universe. And whatever happens to me is more important than whatever else happens in this universe. Maybe there's a little bit of self-centeredness there. Maybe. Yeah. I know the person who wrote this is getting mad at me. Yeah. But this is how I work with my own mind when my mind goes in that direction. Yeah. Okay, so you see that person actually is our supreme teacher, teaching us a lot if we stop and really look closely at what's going on in the situation. Remember, I warned you yesterday that the Dharma antidote is always the exact opposite of what you want to do. Yeah, but it works because it makes our mind expand and see the situation in a totally different way. And when we do that, then the mind relaxes. Yeah, because we're not buying into this made-up horror story.
It's coming up today. I looked on the feelings and needs list just now to see that hurt really is among the feelings. But I was thinking that actually, in my experience, if I'm hurt, that is self-centered right there. That somehow that's a signal feeling that I'm interpreting self-centeredly. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that seem like too harsh?
Yeah. There's various levels of going in investigating this kind of thing. Yeah. But yes, hurt is a feeling. Yeah. But why do I feel hurt? Yeah. And why is my hurt the horrible thing in the universe. So, yeah, there is self-centeredness there. And you know what bodhisattvas do? Here's another technique to work with these things. I like this one. Is when somebody criticizes us or breaks trust or does something like that that's painful to us, to say, good. Yeah, good. I'm glad that person told me off. Now you're going to think I'm really nuts. But really, this is an excellent thought training teaching. You say, good, that person told me off. You know, I get arrogant sometimes. And it's really helpful to me when somebody tells me off because it completely shatters my arrogance. And, you know, if I am sincere about wanting to become a bodhisattva and then a Buddha, I have to get rid of my arrogance because that is a super big hindrance on the path. So here's somebody who smashed my arrogance. Thank you very much. Okay. So this is a way to transform adversity into the path. You can use it when you don't feel well. Yeah. I don't feel well. Good. Good. I don't feel well. You know, because often I walk around this world totally insensitive to how other people feel. And now that I don't feel well, it's reminding me that other people don't feel well and to be more sensitive, you know, and caring when I encounter people that aren't well. Instead of just, you know, blowing them off. Okay? Or you say, good, I don't feel well. That negative karma is ripening. Yeah, it could have ripened in a horrible rebirth that lasted for a long time, but instead it's ripening in me not feeling well for a few days. I can handle not feeling well for a few days. That is no problem. Yeah, having an awful rebirth would be a lot more difficult to handle. Yeah, but not feeling well for a few days, I can handle that. Yeah, and so, you know, then you don't sit there with the poor me thing. Or anger at whoever it was who sneezed that, you know, their germs came towards you like this. And then you suddenly understood Putin and why he sits at the opposite end of a really long table so that he won't catch anybody else's germs. This was one interpretation of why he sits like that. I don't know if it's true in the real interpretation, but this was written somewhere. Yeah. But, well, yeah, you know, they told us to do social spacing. So a table that goes from here back to Kuan Yin, you know, that's appropriate. Yeah. So just turn on your microphone when you talk to me. Okay? So, you know, what we're getting at here is there's a lot of methods to really see the situation differently. And all of them are going to challenge our self-centered thought and challenge our grasping at inherent existence, because we think how we're interpreting things is an objective reality, and it's not. Okay? So if you're aware that those two are our real enemy, then when they get challenged, yeah, even though initially it might be confusing or painful, if you remember what you're trying to do with your life and where you're going, then you say good. Yeah. And as soon as you say good, you feel better. Yeah. Because so much of our suffering comes from rejecting the reality of the situation. Yeah. Where we just flat out reject reality, and we really suffer from it. Yeah. So what exactly are we encountering, or how are we unrealistic? We have expectations that are not correct. Yeah. That's a big one. Yeah. And we think that everything should go the way we want it to go. And that we should get what we want when we want it. Yeah. And there's no God in the universe who promised that to us and who could make it happen. Yeah, this is coming from our afflicted mind. Some of you are looking at me like, I don't know about this. Did you have a question, Dennis? No. Okay. Okay, let's go to verse 8. When selfish craving enters my heart, I will expel it and offer my happiness to all beings. If those around me arise in mutiny against me, I will relish it, thinking this is due to my own negligence. Here we have more antidotes to the situation described in the question. Okay, when selfish craving enters my heart, when somebody does something and we say, oh, my feelings are hurt, what am I wanting? What's the selfish craving? Look, we're talking about my feelings here. My feelings are the most important thing in the universe. Now, here's another direction to go with it. When you sit there and you're going, but my feelings are hurt, ask your question, what are my feelings? Ask yourself that question. We say, my feelings are so hurt. Okay, what's the definition of my feelings? How would you define my feelings? What is it actually that is hurt? We say my feelings are hurt, but what actually are these feelings that are hurt? What can you point to that are them? Okay, so attachment to good reputation, So there's craving for a good reputation. Somebody delivers the opposite of that to us. Our feelings are hurt. Who hurt our feelings? They're my feelings. My feelings are hurt. Who hurt my feelings? And we're still there, my feelings, my attachment to reputation. Somebody hurt my attachment to reputation. Well, that's actually good, isn't it? Because our attachment to reputation is a super big hindrance to practicing the path. Somebody hurt our reputation? Good. Good. So, but what in the world are these feelings that are hurt? We say my feelings, and it feels like there's something, inside here. Do you feel like that? Like my feelings are hurt. There's something inside here, and it takes up some space. What shape is it? What color is it? Yeah. What are these my feelings? Yeah. What are they? Are they in my brain? Are they a bunch of neurons doing their things? But neurons don't get hurt. I mean, unless you bash them with a brick or something. But so what are these feelings that are hurt? We keep coming back to something I'm attached to, something I want is not happening the way I want it. Yeah. But it's a really interesting thing, watch how you talk to yourself and ask yourself what those words mean. Yeah, because if we say them like this, my feelings are hurt, does everybody have an idea of what that feels like when my feelings are hurt? Okay, some people do, some people don't. Okay. Some people understand the expression, my feelings are hurt. Some people don't. Yeah. Does everybody have feelings? Yeah. Are they inside my heart? Are they the blood going through the different, what is it, the atrium and the ventricle in my heart? Are my feelings located there? What in the world are my feelings? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Huh? So I find these kind of explorations very, very helpful for dismantling the story I've made, Especially, I don't want a bad reputation. And I don't deserve a bad reputation because I am me. Yeah, subtext, and therefore I am wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so, and here, if those around me rise in mutiny against me, I will relish it, thinking this is due to my own negligence. So when somebody else hurts my feelings, that's rising in mutiny against me, then I'll say good and relish it because it's due to my negligence. But what's the first thought? I wasn't negligent. I have no responsibility for this. I have no role in it. Yeah. Remember, one of the things to see was what was my role in it. We instantly deny, I don't have any role in it. Yeah. They just dumped this on me. Mm-hmm. Okay. So seeing the defects of self-preoccupation, when selfish craving enters our heart, we train our mind to recognize the harm it causes us and to expel it by imagining taking on the suffering of others. So here is another thought training technique. Yeah. So when we have selfish craving, when we have hurt feelings, yeah, we can do the Tonglen meditation and take on the suffering of others. Yeah. And then you can think of using hurt feelings or attachment to reputation is quite good because we're all very attached to our reputation. We want other people to think well of us. Okay. So, yeah, then we do Tonglen, And we think of all the beings right now who are hurting because they don't have the reputation they want. And they don't think that people appreciate them enough or acknowledge them enough or notice their good qualities enough. How many people suffer in this world from feeling, that they have a bad reputation or that other people don't like them as much as we would like them? Yeah? What percentage of people do you think feel that? Only 95?
I'd say 100% if they aren't attached to their reputation, they've managed to become a police officer.
Yeah. No, they're attached to their reputations too. Yeah. I think unless we have really worked very hard on overcoming the 8 worldly concerns, it's kind of a given that we're all attached to our reputation. And it's interesting, when you talk to people, one of the big things that keeps people from doing things, even from doing virtuous things, is they're afraid of what other people will think of them. Yeah? Okay. So here, it's very helpful to ask yourself, okay, I want a good reputation. What is a reputation? I want it. What is it exactly? Yeah, so what is a good reputation? What's a reputation?
It's what people say and think about you.
Huh?
It's what people say and think about you.
Okay, it's what people say and think about you. Do people spend most of their lives thinking about you and what they think about you? Yeah. Do they wake up every morning, oh, what do I think about Jim? Yeah.
But we should.
But what if they think about Jim? He leaves his dirty socks on the floor. You don't want them to think that about you. Okay. So it's interesting.
Oscar Wilde said the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. Yeah, and that's why Trump is in the news every single day, He needs to be talked about. But it's interesting, yeah? What in the world? It's what other people say. What does other people say? Sound waves. What is what other people think? Yeah. It's blips of energy. Yeah. What are your thoughts? They're just blips of some kind of energy. Huh? So I worry about all these blips in other people. Is that useful? Is what they think about me who I really am?
They're a confused source.
Yeah, they're a confused source. If they knew me well, they would know how good I am. Yeah. But they have, people have so many different opinions of us. Yeah. And sometimes it happens, I know it's happened to me, where within one day, within just a few hours, people will tell me exact opposite opinions of me. Yeah. So which one am I? Because each person is holding on to their opinion. They think they know who I am. Yeah. And that their opinion is right, and yet they're telling me two opposite things. Okay, so you see, this is the problem with being attached to our reputation, is you don't know what to believe or who to believe, and anyway, it's just blips in their mind. People don't spend the whole day thinking about what they think about us. Yeah, they're too busy thinking about themselves. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So this was just another example, take a word, I'm attached to my reputation. What is that? Yeah. I don't feel loved. Yeah, we say that to ourselves too. What is that? What does it mean to feel loved? What are you actually wanting? I want to be loved. What does be loved mean? Yeah, that somebody tells you you're the best thing since sliced bread? What does it mean to be loved? And what does it mean to feel loved? And here I really like what Mother Teresa says, She says, when I need love, give me somebody to love. Yeah. When I need support, give me somebody to support. So she flips the situation every time, saying, I need, I. She realizes that the real fulfillment is in giving that to other people. Yeah. And that so much joy comes when you can give to other people. Yeah. Because we're never going to have enough love. Yeah. We always think if just one more person loved me more, or, whatever it is. But we never have enough. I don't know, I never have enough. So I assume nobody else ever has enough love, enough appreciation, enough acknowledgement for your good qualities. We could always use more, couldn't we? Yeah, we always need more. There's never enough. Yeah. So be content with what you have. Or another way is learn to love other people. Yeah, learn how to give love instead of long for love. Yeah, learn how to give love. What does it mean to give love? Yeah, how does that feel? How do I act to show that I love somebody? And I'm not talking about attachment here. I'm talking about love, meaning we want somebody to have happiness and the causes of happiness. How do I show that to somebody that I want them to have happiness and its causes? So to further our, so we got through one sentence. You imagine taking on the suffering of others when selfish craving enters your heart. To further harm our self-centeredness, we do something it does not like at all. We offer our happiness to all beings. Self-centeredness doesn't want us to offer our happiness to others. We want our happiness and what we think gives us happiness. We want to keep it to ourselves. Okay? So again, see, the opposite of what we want to do. But instead of indulging our self-preoccupation, which only digs us into a hole, we focus on others' needs and concerns and give them our happiness. Yeah. So in a way, what we're renouncing is our selfish craving for happiness by focusing our mind on giving happiness to others. Even if others harm us and rise in mutiny against us, instead of retaliating and inflicting harm on them, we recognize that the harm we receive is due to our previous negligence in observing the law of karma and its effects. Okay, when we don't take the law of karma, action, and its effects seriously, when we're careless with our actions, then we create just negative karma, and that karma is ripening upon us when others arise in mutiny. Okay, because we were negligent in the way we treated them in the past. We were negligent in the way we kept ethical conduct. Yeah, and so we did negative actions. Now we're experiencing the result. Not realizing or caring that our actions have an ethical dimension, in the past we acted in self-centered ways that inflicted harm on others and created destructive karma for ourselves. That's what I was talking about this morning. Now we are experiencing the result of these actions. The boomerang returns to us. So we assume responsibility for our actions and bear the result without blaming others or feeling sorry for ourselves. Relishing the opportunity to purify our destructive karma, we do the taking and giving meditation. Yeah. So this is a very, very good meditation to do when we're right in the middle of that situation, yeah, of our feelings are hurt, and the people that we trust are now arising in mutiny against us and talking badly behind our back and all of that stuff. Yeah. So we imagine taking on their negative karma, using it to destroy our own self-grasping and self-centeredness, and then imagine transforming our body, possessions, and all of our merit into what others need and giving that to them and feeling really glad. Okay? So your ruby red offering bowls, you're now transforming into, whatever it is somebody else needs, and you're giving it with a happy mind. And maybe that person doesn't want ruby red offering bowls. Maybe they want a washing machine. So your ruby red bowls turn into a washing machine. You imagine giving them a washing machine. Yeah. So how much time do you spend every day thinking about your ruby red offering bowl?
They're not mine.
Oh. That doesn't prevent you from thinking about them. You gave them away and you still continue to think about them.
Only when you ask now.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's interesting to observe, things that we think are like so crucial. Then sometimes to ask ourselves, how much time do I really spend thinking about that? Yeah. And after I think about that for a while, what happens? Boring. Yeah. You imagine your ruby red offering bowls lined up on the altar filled with water. Beautiful. I made such a beautiful offering to the Buddha. What's your next fantasy going to be? I take them down one by one and I dry them and I stack them in a beautiful shape on the altar. And that gives me so much pride. Yeah? Do you really, these things we're attached to, do we really spend that much time thinking about them? No, we don't really spend that time thinking about them. We spend our time thinking about somebody else has it now, not me. That's what we think about. Yeah. I got left out. I'm a loser. Yeah. Somebody else. We found out who has the water bowls too. And she's turning that ruby red color, right?
Who wants the water bowl? They're up for grabs.
You have to make sure which water ball.
Yeah.
You didn't specify what.
Yeah. Okay. As preparation for this meditation, we contemplate that all sentient beings, ourselves and others, friends, strangers, enemies, okay, everybody, all equally want happiness and not suffering. Isn't that astounding? That everybody wants happiness and not suffering? I thought I was the only one. Yeah, because that's what I think about all day. I don't think about that all of you want happiness and not suffering. I think about me. Yeah, it's really shocking, isn't it? We then consider others' misery in cyclic existence, the poverty, sickness, emotional betrayal, injustice, and disappointments they experience in life after life. Here we can bring the news into our meditation by reflecting on all the diverse sufferings humans and animals experience. Rather than go to the extreme of despair over the state of the world, we generate compassion for all sentient beings, thinking how wonderful if they were free from all unsatisfactory circumstances and their causes. Okay, so we cultivate compassion, wishing them to be free of suffering, and then followed by love, wanting them to have happiness. We then reflect, okay, so we're at the point now that we're saying how wonderful if they were free of their misery. Okay, next step, we then reflect on the kindness living beings have shown us in this and previous lives, and how the kindness they will continue to show us in future lives. They grow the food we eat, make the clothes we wear. All of our knowledge comes because others taught us. All of our talents depend on those who encouraged and coached us. Okay. We didn't come out, fully as wonderful as we consider ourselves right now. So feeling their kindness and how much we have benefited from their kindness, we cultivate love, thinking how wonderful if they had happiness and all the causes of happiness. Okay. Generally, love and compassion, there's no fixed order in how you generate them, okay? But when we do the taking and giving meditation, first we cultivate compassion because we want to take others' misery away from them. And then that's followed by the cultivation of love, giving them our happiness and so on. We then reflect, okay, next step, we then reflect on the defects of self-centeredness, becoming convinced of its deleterious effects. We contemplate the benefits of cherishing others until we have an overwhelming wish to act on our positive feelings. Ooh, positive feelings. What are those? Yeah. But we contemplate the benefits of cherishing others. Yeah. And so then, after we contemplate that, then, yeah, we want to act on it. We want to give others happiness and its causes. So this propels us to exchange self and others. Okay? This means that instead of thinking that we are the most important one who deserves everything good, we think that others are more important and sincerely want to work for their benefit. That's a big step, isn't it? Yeah. It's one thing thinking that others have feelings. Yeah. It's a bit more to think they want happiness and not suffering. But to exchange self and others so that we want happiness for others because they're more important than us. Whoa. Yeah. So you see that these meditations really prod us. Yeah. And they bring, we react to them. Our afflictions react to these meditations. Yeah. If you just say, oh yeah, I exchange myself with others, I cherish them more than I cherish myself, I'm no longer selfish, and you think that, and then what's the next thing you do? Yeah. You take more of the German chocolate cake that was offered yesterday and smuggle it away. Yeah, but I'm so compassionate, I'm so kind, I really cherish others more than myself. So you see, when it's so easy to do, so often there's a disconnect. Yeah. But when you think, I cherish others more than myself, so I'm not going to take that piece of German chocolate cake. Then push has come to shove, and you stand there in front of the table. And what am I going to do? Well, I could take one piece instead of two pieces, because that way I'm cherishing others equal to myself. You know? Yeah. Or, let's see, I could split one piece in half and take the biggest piece and the bigger part and give the smallest one to them. I know I will announce it to the whole room. I am practicing exchanging self with others, so I am leaving all of you one more piece of German chocolate cake. Do you see what a good practitioner I am? Okay, let's proclaim our virtue. Okay. So this means that instead of thinking that we are the most important one who deserves everything good, we think that others are more important and sincerely want to work for their benefit. We can then even exchange the reference of the words self and others. Okay, so we're exchanging the reference so that when we say, I want to be happy, I actually means others. Okay? And when we say, I want to be happy, we actually mean others want to be happy. And when we say others aren't important, we mean I'm not important. Okay, so we change the reference of the words. The taking and giving meditation is a win-win situation where we imagine compassionately taking what others don't want, their dukkha, their misery and its causes, their self-grasping, their self-centeredness. So we're taking away from them their first two noble truths, true dukkha and the cause of it, and use it to destroy. So we're taking what they don't want, their dukkha and its causes, and use it to destroy what we don't want, our ignorance and self-centeredness. Okay, which we think of as, this kind of icky stuff here. Yeah. And then, and so we give their pain to the self-centeredness, to the self-grasping. Yeah. And we say, self-grasping, you're the one who causes all my problems. Self-centeredness, that you're the one who helps keep me in samsara. So you can take all the suffering of other living beings, and you can actually take my suffering too. And you give it all to the self-centered thought and the grasping at inherent existence. Okay. Then with love, we imagine giving them our happiness, our good circumstances and their causes, our wholesome mental states and wholesome karma. To do the taking and giving meditation itself, we visualize in front of us others who are afflicted with the three kinds of dukkha. Okay, so the dukkha of pain, which everybody knows is undesirable, the dukkha of change, which means that a pleasant situation or pleasant feelings disintegrate, and eventually the thing that we derive pleasure from becomes quite disturbing and unpleasant. And then the third kind of dukkha is called the pervasive dukkha of conditioning, which means just having the body and mind that's under the influence of afflictions and karma. Okay, so we imagine, we visualize in front of us others who are afflicted with the three kinds of dukkha. With some people, we may focus more on their obvious suffering, the dukkha of pain. With others, we may be more aware of their dukkha of change, which leaves them constantly dissatisfied or disillusioned. With still others, their dukkha of pervasive conditioning is more prominent in our minds, and we imagine all these unsatisfactory circumstances leaving them in the form of pollution. Okay, we imagine inhaling the pollution. Okay, or imagining inhaling the pollution. We meditate that we are taking on their dukkha and its causes, and feel joyful that these kind sentient beings are now free from them. Yeah, because we've taken it all on ourselves. But we do not simply take their dukkha and its causes into ourselves and sit there and suffer ourselves. Okay, that's not the solution. Instead, we imagine our self-grasping ignorance and self-centeredness as a lump at our heart. This is your heart chakra in the center of your chest. The dukkha of others that we have inhaled becomes like a lightning bolt that obliterates the lump at our heart. Okay? Or sometimes people, they don't like the idea of a lightning bolt hitting that lump of grasping and self-centeredness. Some people prefer to see it as dirt, and when they inhale, they imagine some kind of non-polluting cleaning agent coming and, dissolving it and whisking it away. Okay, so there's different visualizations you can use. But after we imagine taking on their suffering and, and doing that with compassion because we care about others, we pause and experience the spaciousness and relief of being free from ignorance and self-centeredness. We rest our mind in this space while meditating on the emptiness of inherent existence. Okay. Then, when our concentration begins to fade, we imagine radiant light filling that space in our heart, because now that our self-centeredness and self-grasping ignorance have been destroyed, there's just this beautiful, luminous space in our hearts, and we think it is our happiness, and we now give our happiness to others without any fear or reluctance. Okay, so we imagine transforming our body into a wish-fulfilling jewel that becomes whatever or whoever others need, and we give it to them. Okay, so if others need, a doctor, we transform our body into a doctor, we send that out. If others need somebody to love them, we manifest as that and send that out, whatever others need. Okay. We imagine doing the same with our possessions, imagining others receiving whatever they need and feeling satisfied. So taking our possessions and all the things we think we have no attachment to until it's time to give them away. And then we discover that we're quite attached. But to imagine transforming these things into whatever others need and giving them that, and they receive that, and their needs are met, and then we rejoice and feel happy at their happiness. Finally, we imagine giving our merit or good karma to others, thinking it transforms and expands into what others need to practice the Dharma. Maybe they need temples, Dharma centers, monasteries, qualified Dharma teachers, Dharma friends, books, meditation cushions, and so forth. Okay, so we imagine our merit transforming into whatever good conditions people need in order to practice the Dharma. One may be a peaceful country. Yeah, difficult to practice in a war-torn country. We also imagine our merit becomes realizations of the path and give these to all others. So we, give all the realization of the stages of the path to others. So they receive these and become fully awakened Buddhas. We witness them being radiant and peaceful, experiencing true freedom and fearlessness, as well as overwhelming delight in working for the benefit of others. So we imagine others as Buddhas, and wouldn't that be wonderful? Yeah. The happiness of being able to benefit others overrides any kind of discomfort we may have felt about giving our body possessions and merit to them. Okay, so we rest in that feeling of how good it feels to give happiness and its causes to others. His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, often talks about who really benefits when someone is compassionate. And he says, If I'm compassionate and I benefit someone else, we think that that person who's the recipient is the person who feels happiness. You know, they got the best part of the deal. But he says, when I'm compassionate and do something for others, actually, I'm the one who benefits the most from it. Why? Because when I give happiness to others, I have no idea whether they will be happy with what I've given them. But when I give happiness to others, the doing of that itself is the reward. Yeah. I don't expect thank yous. I don't expect praise. Just the doing of something compassionate for somebody else is the fulfillment itself. We don't need anything else. And so he talks about the benefit of being compassionate in that way. Quite powerful, huh?